G'day guys, welcome back to another tipping video on the channel, and today I'll be going through my round 1 predictions for 2024, and I'll also be going over what occurred in opening round, or round 0 as most people call it. So yeah, let's jump straight into it. In round 0 I got 2 tips correct out of 4 in correctly tipping Sydney and Gold Coast, so nothing really too special there. And I incorrectly tipped Brisbane and Collingwood, as Carlton and GWS were the 2 teams that got the job done. For my big calls, I tipped for Sydney Melbourne. I tipped that there'll be 15 or more goals kicked in the second half, and there definitely was 15 goals. That's all I can say. I don't know if there's any more than that, but 15, good enough. There's one. Then for my second big call, in the second game against Carlton Brisbane, I did Carlton the lead at quarter time, and that was a huge fail. And shocking fashion for my first incorrect big call of the season. The next game, I correctly, and I'm very, very happy with this one, correctly tipped Ben King at kicking 5 or more goals. He did kick 5 goals. He did it with about a couple minutes left to spare, and boy, oh boy, was I happy. GWS versus Collingwood already was an unfortunate game. It got even worse with my big call. The lead never goes beyond 15 points was my big call, and it certainly did, because GWS won by more than 15 points. So I got 2 big calls. So 2 tips, 2 big calls. I wasn't too happy with my tipping, to be honest, but very, very pleased with my big calls. Let's move straight on to round 1. First game of, really, the season properly, when you think about it, but not for these 2 teams. First game in Melbourne, though, so exciting times. Carlton versus Richmond. This one will be a bit of an interesting one. Normally, last couple times we've seen some close games. We saw a draw last year. We saw Carlton get a really good win over Richmond in 2022. I believe it was a comeback win as well. But ever since, before the previous 2 seasons, it's all been Richmond in this opening game. Can Carlton finally win a round 1 game? Excluding 2022, they haven't won one since a long time. Maybe 2011 even, I want to say. 2013. So, they need to win this game. They should win this game. They should flog Richmond, really. Richmond was so disappointing. I didn't watch the game against Gold Coast, but from what I've been told, they played absolutely horribly in the first half. Their second half, though, was very impressive, but still they only managed to score 60 points. Scoring is definitely an issue for them, though Shai Bolton did kick 3 goals, but then who's going to stand up, with him, because Tom Lynch, I believe, is a chance to play. So if he does play, then that's a huge boost for Richmond. I believe Dusty and Nankervis are also set to return as well. So, they should be better, Richmond. But you never know, because Carlton, they were absolutely amazing against Brisbane. Well, they weren't really, but then they pulled off one of the best comebacks I've seen, especially this decade. I was just so impressed with the way they played in the second half. The first half, though, was quite disappointing. They just leaked so many goals through their midfield. Their defence was pretty disappointing as well. They took all their opportunities, and that's something Carlton haven't really been able to, do, I feel, in their previous 2 years of them being good. I feel they haven't really, been able to take their chances, and they certainly did, and they're quite accurate as well. Harry Mackay, I'm speaking about you, mate. That was an unbelievable performance from him, really. Obviously going Carlton here. 41 points for mine. And my big call, Charlie Curnow kicks 5 or more goals. I'll be pretty happy if he does this, because, it's a possibility. And then Friday night is Collingwood versus Sydney. To be honest with you, I'm not really looking forward to this actual game, but I'm looking forward to us unveiling our 2023 premiership, because, exciting times, and how good. First game for the year as well in Melbourne and at the MCG. We want to maybe silence some of the doubters as well that, we've been already criticised quite heavily for losing one game to start the year. It's been horrible. Mason Cox is, you know, yeah, he did something wrong, but he's been backed by Collingwood, and hopefully he can make some better decisions against his one of his other ex teammates in Brodie Grundy. It's going to be a huge game for Brodie Grundy. Expect heaps and heaps and heaps of boos. I probably won't be booing him though, but you never know. If it's after the siren, 100%. But anyways, moving on. Sydney, they were fantastic last week. Credit to them. Their midfield, was pretty impressive for the majority of the game. Look, they did fail to take their opportunities inside forward 50 and probably could have won the game by a little bit more. Then again, Melbourne had the same issues, so maybe if Melbourne could kick straight, maybe the game could have gone differently, but that's just impossible for Melbourne at the moment, really, isn't it? So, yeah, I feel like Sydney could have won that by a bit more. Melbourne, that were really disappointing in the first half, and Sydney just capitalised, really. That midfield, Chad Warner, Goulden wasn't great, but, expect big things from him. Jordan, Rowbottom, yeah, it's scary. And then when you add the veterans of Adams and Parker and Mel's back in, and they're going to be a scary side. But yeah, enough, blabbering. I'll go Collingwood. I'll back us in, even though I see Sydney winning. I'll go Collingwood, by 7 points. Or to lose this game, but I see us dropping it. And you'll see why with my big call. Sydney kick 5 or more goals in the third quarter is my big call. I think we'll start really, really well in the first half, be on top of the game, and then almost choke it, really, in a way. But, moving on to the first games of the Saturday. And Hawthorn is the first game on the Saturday. And, this one's probably going to be a 50-50 game, We haven't seen both these two teams yet, so I can't really say anything, can I? Hawthorn, their forward line looks really dangerous. It's just their defence, really, for mine. Will Day also out injured. More, not 100% certain to play, I believe. It'll be interesting to see how they go in their first game. I'm expecting big things from Hawthorn this year, as I did, in my tips, or my tipping predictions video I made a week ago. Essendon, look, I'm not expecting too much from them, especially with Parrish out. Look, Hawthorn, they do have some outs. I think it'll be a close game, but we'll back in the Hawks by 18 points. And, my big call, Mabior Chol, kicks 5 or more goals. I'm kind of taking the piss here. I'm just trying to piss everyone off by doing this. But, Chol kicks 5 or more goals. Why not? And then the next game, GWS versus North. I'll speak about GWS here for a bit because far out did they look impressive. I feel sorry for North Melbourne that they have to go up to Giants Stadium and verse the Giants there because they looked absolutely unstoppable up there against us. Their ball movement was ridiculous. They got so much reward. Yeah, maybe that's because it was, their day and they got a few fluky goals from Toby Green and Brent Daniels and Callum Brown. Jesse Hogan was phenomenal, as you'd expect, though. He loves Giant Stadium. He's loving life in general at the moment, Jesse. Their defence as well, I thought defended pretty well, in my opinion. Maybe not so much in the last quarter, but when the game was there to be won, GWS defended superbly. Their midfield as well. They just got it into their forward line, just brilliantly dominated clearances, I feel. I feel bad for North. Can't really say much about North. I think they'll have a better year this year. I'm looking forward to seeing their young kids and even Fisher, make his debut. But look, let's be realistic. GWS are going to win this pretty comfortably. 64 points for mine. And, my big call, Jesse Hogan kicks 6 or more goals. Continuing his fantastic start to the season, hopefully. Next game, Geelong versus St Kilda. Again, can't say too much. They haven't played a game. Geelong, look, we're expecting them to still be good at GMHBA, and you'd think they'd want to win it for Joel Selwood. They're unveiling his stand and the new stand, so, it'd be interesting. Bigger crowd, bigger atmosphere. Expecting big things from the Cats at GMHBA this year, actually. And it'll be exciting to see them go with, a younger list. I believe they will go with quite a young list into this game, so that's exciting for people that want to see Geelong good. And, I do like their young players, even though I absolutely hate Geelong. And St Kilda, look, I'm not expecting too much from them this year, except maybe a drop-off. I don't see them playing as well. I don't think their defence will be quite as good this year. Midfield, again, doesn't do it for me. If Max King can kick enough goals, then maybe they can win this game, but I don't know. Yeah, it's 50-50, but because it is at GMHBA, I'm leaning towards the Cats, so I'll go them by 10 points, and my big call, St Kilda, lead at three-quarter time by 15 or more points. So, yeah, a bit of a choke, if you want to say that. Moving on to the next game, on at a similar time, on that Saturday night, Gold Coast versus Adelaide. Now, Gold Coast, they were impressive in the first half, weren't they? Their ball movement was fantastic. Matt Rao, got the most or equal most clearances in the history of the AFL, and the most since 1999. It was absolutely unbelievable. I didn't watch the game, but I certainly watched the highlights, and they were just all over them in the first half, all over Richmond, and huge drop-off in the second half. Was disappointing from the Suns. They leaked that many goals, and, they were up by 68 points. They kicked 68 points in a row. I've even got the proof. At one stage, their percentage was 1,113 or whatever. So, absolutely unbelievable from them. But, look, it is their home game, so maybe they do win. I forgot to mention, this is against Adelaide. I think maybe I did mention that. Adelaide, they'll be good this year. That's for sure. Top 4, smoky for mine. Looking forward to see how they go. Probably won't watch this game, though, but I reckon it'll be a really, really good game. Probably the best of the round, in my opinion. And, I think I'll back in the Suns for mine. I saw enough from them last week to make me tip them. But then again, this one could go horribly wrong for mine. For me, for mine, Gold Coast by 3 points in a really thrilling game. And my big call against his former team, Isaac Rankin, has 25 or more disposals and kicks 3 or more goals. Then moving on to the Sunday, first games of Sunday for this year. Now, none of these teams except the Lions have played, and I won't be talking about them for long, so I will speed through these 3 games. Melbourne versus Bulldogs is the first. I'm expecting this one to be low scoring, a bit of a scrap. Melbourne did play last week, but they were horrible. Inaccurate, sloppy, just similar to last year. Same sort of issues. Get a lot of inside forward 50s, but not capitalise. Oliver was a highlight. Max Gorn was the first to hit the cum post as well this year. I don't know if anyone knows what that is, but anyways, I just wanted to point that out. And Petrarca was interesting in this game. I just didn't expect Petrarca to be that bad. Viney was the one carrying them, not Petrarca. So it was a bit of a confusing Melbourne performance. I wasn't expecting it to be that bad from them. I could see the Dogs winning this. They're unveiling their new recruits. Because it is at the MCG, though, I'll probably go Melbourne by 10 points. And my big call, 10 or more behinds, then goals are scored. So basically, there'll be 10 more behinds in this game than goals. Inaccurate, I know, but both teams were quite inaccurate in their previous, year. Now, Port versus West Coast. All right, I'm moving on quickly. West Coast, they're going to be shit this year. Harley Reid, exciting to see him debut. Other than that, there's nothing more to say. Port Adelaide, a little bit exciting. Butters is playing. Rosie's playing. Horne-Francis is playing. Wines is back to his best. They've got a brand new defence. They've got Marshall kicking goals for fun. Port by 72. And my big call, there'll be 10 or more goals in a row scored by Port Adelaide in this game. At any stage of the game, that is, as well. And Freo versus Brisbane is the final game of the round. This one will be a good one, I reckon. An underratedly good game. Because Brisbane were disappointing last week. Can you back them in? Oh, yeah, that they choked that horribly, Brisbane. At the Gabba as well. It's so concerning for them. But it was only a point. Carlton are going to be really good this year. I think they'll still be good enough to win against Freo. As much as I want to tip Freo, I think I have to tip Brisbane. Freo, they'll be good in this game. They'll be decent. maybe this year. Maybe not. Bottom four, Freo probably. But anyways, they'll be good at home. So that's why I reckon it'll be close. But I'll go Brisbane by 10 points. And my big call, forgive me for doing this. It's a bit mean, but you know, it's Nat 5, so you have to do this. Nat 5 gets injured in the first quarter of this one as my big call. I'm sort of taking the piss here with some of my big calls this week, but yeah, you know, it's all good, all for fun. If some of them happen, then happy days. We won't be happy if that one happens, though. That'd be disastrous for him. But look, it'd kind of be good for me because I don't like Nat 5. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed my tipping video. First proper one, round one of the year, and yeah, I'll see you guys next week for round two. And yeah, hopefully Collingwood can improve on their start of the season and get a good win against Sydney.